Hello. Oops, let me see if I can do this. Oh, I can't. Okay, I put the wrong rotation and I'm stuck with that. Okay, I think I can just flip the holder. Hello, guys. Hello, everybody. Hi. Let me put this. So today we're going to do the thumb. Just a second. Let me put my phone on the holder here. All right, that's better. Hi. So we have I have some things to say about this class, about today's class. About her. So I noticed that I don't know how or when I put her legs were too long. So probably when I was doing a class, the leg slided down my wire, and because I was in class, I didn't realize. Or when I'm in class, I'm more focused on teaching than actually getting things exactly right. So that happened, and I shortened her leg a little bit. I still have to work on it a little bit better, just so you guys, if you think like something is different, it's because her legs are a little bit shorter. And I noticed some air bubbles on her legs here too that I will have to fix, but I can do that off camera. So I made her hand, and it's baked. And today we're going to finish the thumb and go ahead for some arm lessons. Let me put this here now. Before we get started, does anybody have any question from last class? Hello. I'm just fixing here no questions? Hello, guys. Am I in the Portuguese channel? No, I hope I'm in the English one. Oh, I might be in the wrong channel here. No, I'm okay. I'm all right. How did get into Don't Make It? How did I get? Okay, this is a class, so I can't answer interview questions, but I can definitely set up a day to come here and answer some personal questions. Sorry. So this is the hand that we stopped last class, and I finished all the fingers like I said I would, and it's baked. So why did I bake? Because after I put the thumb, we can try to build the arm, so it's good to have this baked so I can place the baby and not be afraid to mess up the fingers. The perfect condition, the perfect way to do would be have the thumb already here baked, so we can place the baby in there and work with the thumb also baked, but we're gonna have to figure that out today. And if I messed up the thumb a little bit, that's okay. I can always fix it after. Okay, so let's go for the thumb and let's work on it. You guys asked me to make the thumb in front of you, so that it is. Yep, Michael Jackson is on the plan. I have a special project for Michael Jackson. That's why I've been taking so long, and it's just kind of like a big project, and I need help. I need money to invest, and I don't want to use him. Like I don't want to give up on this idea. My sculpting tools. I have if you go on my website, there's a link. You can find my website link here on my YouTube. Just go to my homepage and there's a link to my website. Or you just put julianalupine.com. There's a link. If you go there, there's like products. And it takes you to an Amazon account that I have where I put links of all the products that I use there. Though they are not my products, I don't sell them, but I link them to like the most similar ones that I use and where to get them. Mine I got from Brazil. This one, it's from Lili Artesanatos in Brazil. And this one is just like a regular dentist tool. You can find those links on this page that I set up for helping you guys to find the products that I use. All right, so let's start with the thumb. I'm going to, how long does it take to make a complete figure like this one? Well, depends. This one is being made in class, so I just pretty much do it once a week for 1 hour. Some things I can do it like the other hand and the other arm, and usually, I don't know, this is class 11, so probably 11 more classes and we can be done, I think. Usually it takes me 20 days to do one. When I'm not recording, when I'm doing anything, I can be faster, but usually I record. All right, so thumb. I get a little bit of clay. You can just do the thumb just like the other ones and put it in here just around the wire and cover with clay and then slowly build all the features. But if you prefer, you can already come up with more clay and build up this chubby part of the hand at once. It doesn't really matter how you get in there. All that matters is that you know the shape you want and you know what you're doing and you're good. Okay, so I'm just covering with clay right now. I'm not really giving any shape. Thank you. And I will blend in together here. No problem. I was just concerned if this is the right color. Yeah, it's because this one I used some yellow to mix the colors, and yellows are very strong, so when you bake it pop out a little bit more, and then it's a little bit different before baking. And I thought I got the wrong clay, but it's not. It's the same one. It's going to be the same color as when I bake. So I'm just blending in all the extra clay here just so they are nice and smooth. And here too. So that's a long thumb. So the first thing that you have to know is where the thumb is in this position, the hand position. Where would the thumb be, the distance from this finger? Like how tall should it be? Where should it reach in that finger here, right? So the best way to do it is your armature is already right? The thumb goes pretty much almost to the first phalange part here when you have your hand in this position. But right now we're doing this, so it can go, if you close it, it can really reach everywhere, right? You can slide your thumb and it could reach everywhere. So it really, really depends on the pose of your hand. Because if you're like this, you can put the thumb really low. But if you go this way, it goes all the way to the tip of your finger or even past the tip of your finger. So first thing that I do is I copy the pose of my hand to see where how I want my hand to be and where the thumb is going close to my finger here. So according to my hand here, this is going pretty much, the tip of my thumb is going almost to the second phalange here, the top of it, almost. Or you can even go there. It's not very different if you go a little bit more or less. It doesn't really matter. So where is my second one is right here. Let me go closer. So the second one is here, second from the bottom, so first, second. And if I go this way, I want it to be reaching pretty much there. So that's good enough. I like that. So that's number one, how long my thumb will be in this hand position. So second thing I like to do is figure out where my nail is facing. Because if I have my hand this way, I'm gonna have my nail facing sideways, but almost like more a turn to the top here. But if I do this, my nail is going to be pointing to the outside here, like sideways of my other fingers here. And as I go down, it goes more down there, but always a little bit sideways here. So when I am doing this, my nail is facing the outside here, or I mean the inside of my body, but outside of my hand on the sideways. So that means my nail is going to be right here. So what we can do is make a little mark. Remember the finger shape? So the only difference with the thumb is that instead of having nail, like a little tip up a little bit, and then goes up, straight, and then that's it, and that's already the bone here. The other fingers goes, like if you remember, tip, a little bit up tip, then up, straight, big bone here. So there's just not this part on the thumb here. I mean, it's missing one. I'm not sure if it's missing, like, I think it's this one, not this, not the tip one. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to press it down and up, down and up, right? So I'm carving here the hand position, and as I bring up, I'm also giving the finger shape on the profile, because I'm bringing this area up too. And that's going to help me to keep the nail on the right position. You don't want to put the nail up here or not on the sideways. Okay? Je ne parle français. So as you can see, when you look in the profile, you can already see a little bit of a thumb shape in there. All right, so that's step 2. And what I like to do after is doing the inside. So what is the inside? When we are with the thumb, with the hand in this position, we are not bending it, right? It's kind of straight. So we don't need to worry about making this bone here. This nod, I don't know how to call that. But anyway, we don't need to make this volume. The thumb is relaxed, is like that. So there's a little bit of a volume, but there's not like anything pointy or anything like that. But we do need to still mark the inside part of it. And I like to do that. That's the third thing that I like to do. So I will, at least when I'm teaching, because then I think if you follow this, it's good, but you don't need to follow this order. So I'm just going to mark. Let me go closer now. I have to be close and out, close and out. All right, so I'm going to mark it. And then it's for the size of it, you have to kind of like see the other ones and go for the same proportions of the phalanges. Join on finger, join on finger. Okay, thank you. I will probably forget it, but thank you. Join or finger, I'll try not to forget. When we learn a language older, it's so hard. All right, so there we go. I'm back. Ooh, I thought I wouldn't be able to come back. My YouTube dropped, and then it locked me out, and then it accepted me back. Can everybody hear me? Hello? Can everybody still hear me and see me? I'm not sure if you guys can still see me. The thing just dropped out of nothing, I lost the contact. Can you guys still see me and hear me? Hello? Okay, good. Sometimes when that happens, then you can just hear me and not see me, and I have to restart the whole thing. So Let's go back. So what else happened here? So when you have your thumb relaxed, you can see the phalange mark here. And then here, just it's like pretty much, it doesn't really get skinnier or anything, but it's kind of like a change of curve direction, right? So here you see like there's a curve this way, and here it kind of like goes like this. So it's curve and then curve this way. So that's pretty much it, just a direction change on the curve here. Then you have like, did you like the sound effect that I made? So what am I going to do here? Just a little bit of a curve changing. And as you change the curve here, the top does a little bit of the same thing. So you can only, you just need to kind of pull it in here a little bit. And that's it. It's just a curve changing. And now, as you reach down here, you have the bone. I'll have to go further. Then as you reach down here, you have the bone, the thumb ends, and as it reaches the bottom of the bone, the curve starts going to inside the fat part, this chubby part here. So it really depends on how the hand position is for how you see this part and how fat it is here. So you have to look to your reference, but if you know the basics, you can pretty much get it right, especially if it's a hand that is not going to be shown very easy. So for here, I would just finish this thumb right there and let it go. Like even when I did automatically, I already start like letting it change the direction, the curve finish here. And then we can put the chubby part right now, right there. Oops, I'm out of camera. There. Okay. And that's it for thumb. We'll put it together here. And just blend in. And this part, the chubby part, is pretty much in the center that you can finish it. It's my computer, or is the picture blurry? I don't know. Is it blurry? I don't see blurry, but I see blurry all the time at the same time when I don't have my glasses, so everything is a little bit blurry for me anyway. Blurry? So it's the connection, because you see my phone is normal. It's not out of focus or anything. It might be my connection today. Still, if I stop, not blurry yours? If I stop, is it still blurry? Because it could be just pixeling the image and that's just low connection. Not blurry? Oh. Okay. Should I just keep on going then? Still blurry? Well, that might be you guys' connection then. If it's not blurry to everyone, then it's probably your connection. Okay. All right, so now that we pretty much built the thumb, I mean, I didn't do the details on it, but that's fine. We can do the details after. We also have to do the pose, the shape on the muscles here, like we did in the other fingers. So remember, nothing is flat, and the thumb does have the part on the under the The mark here gets a little bit thinner. Mine gets a lot, but my thumb is weird. I don't know if all of you guys have like that, but I always do that on my dolls. So look at your own. I think my thumb is kind of weird. I think I have this too thick and this too thin. So usually for my dolls, I don't go that much. Maybe it's because I bite my nails. I don't know. But it is a little bit, so I'm going to make it skinnier here. And here. And then it's always good to make sure that this part is happening nicely. So what happened to it when we have the thumb like that? You see here how it is? It looks even kind of weird when you look at the hand, because you can see like this triangle here, pretty obvious, like there's more volume to here. And then in this part is just skin, right? But you can see this triangle. So when we go here, we can keep the triangle showing. And now we're going to build the skin. I'm just making sure that this is not flat, so I'm putting my tool laying down here to give an inclination to the sides of the finger, just like I did with the other ones. Okay, and there's also a little bit of the volume to this bone here. It's not a lot, but it's there. You can see it. So we can add a little bit of a volume. If you have your hand like this, then this volume is bigger. It's more pointy. But right now it's just a little volume with this finger position. So you always have to pay attention in the finger position and all the little bones, what happened to it. How much can you see when you change your hand's position, when you change your finger position. And it's quite exercising until you know all that happens without needing reference. So I always just say, you know, just go and look at your reference and follow through it and you'll be fine. So there you go. I got a lot of bubbles to my hand, to my clay. That's just the mixing. Some mixings get more than others. I don't know why. So there you go, a little bit of bone in there. And now everything looks so weird in the sides for me. I look here and I think that doesn't look right. What is wrong? All right, so let's find out what is wrong. Remember that I mentioned that when we bend our hand, we bend through those bones and they are not aligned with this, the beginning of the finger. So this is what's weird. Right now we're missing this part on the inside of the hand. Our hand is finishing in this line, right? It's finishing right here. Because we didn't put this part yet, look. It's pretty much aligned with the bones. Let me go closer. Because all we did was put the fingers and that's it. We did not build this part. So here it looks too small for a hand. So it's missing space to build that up. So now let's put this part on the inside of the hand. And that does not have to match the size of the bone. It has to be higher. Makes the hand, inside of the hand, bigger than the outside. So how much high? Make sure that you will see the phalanges still. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. Oh gosh, now I have to go back again. It's gonna be a little bit shorter, but it's not that much. Look, it's just like the difference is from the bone to here. So that's it pretty much. That's what we're gonna add. So it's not a lot, but it will make a huge difference. As you place it in there. And it can be chubbier too because the hand is a little bit bended, so you can see a little puffy pillows here. So I'm going to now blend it in, and let's go closer again. And guys, this is my private classes on Patreon. They are for free right now because of the coronavirus. Usually those are $10 per month to have access to all my weekly classes. But if you do want to join the Patreon, there's a lot of older classes in there too. They all are saved and you can watch them anytime you want. Or if you just want to support my work, you can always either join my Patreon or you can sign up my YouTube as a special fan or as a student. That also is another way to support my work. And there we go. Now the hand does not look so awkward, especially when you put more in here, because this, when you do this, you can see a lot of the skin here, because you see, you can see a lot of this, and this is pretty, there's a pretty nice volume here. So the finger is skinny and then here gets thicker. So with mine, it's still not as thick as it should, see? It's still pretty skinny under the finger, so I'm gonna add more volume there. So I have it thicker. So all these little details is what help you to get it right, to get it natural, and to get people amazed. As much more detail you add to it, the better it will, the more similar and the better and the most realistic will be. You don't really need to add all the details. There's a dozen of different styles out there. But it's always good to know a little bit of how it looks like for real, so you can do the modifications and make it into a cool cartoon. And I just need to make sure that the hand here, it's still, even though we changed the hand direction here, right? We brought it down. The hands still have to finish in the right place here. And the pulse is the one that is turning. Otherwise, this is gonna be too long. Oh, you don't know how? Okay. Well, you're welcome to stay if you like, or if you don't like, that's okay. All right, guys, so I've got the right volume here. And I'm just gonna, there's a little hole in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of more clay. Wrist. Oh yeah, I said pulse. That's right. Pulse is just in Portuguese. I translated, I just said Portuguese with accent. In English, they don't mean the same. Thanks, Marcia. My students already know those mistakes. They even learned some Portuguese already. So this in Portuguese is pulso. And in English is wrist. So sometimes I say pulse, trying to just speak Portuguese with English accent, but that doesn't work for that word. So it's wrist. Can you make check status? What is that? Anyway, let me finish this hand. Let me go closer. And now we just need to make this look nice and deeper. Usually I just put my tool on inclinated position as well and kind of dig around to make that part to look cool in there. And that's it. Honestly, for this hand, I would definitely stop here because this is all under the baby, so it's not gonna show. This might show, but I don't know. There's a close in here, and there's not need of a lot more. Chucky doll. Yeah, maybe, sure. I don't like horror movies too much, but sure. I get scared. Can't sleep then, I have nightmares. So I will just mark the nails. There's something dirty in there I have to get rid of. I'll do that after. And here, I just mark just the same as I did to the other finger. Maybe I can even put a little bit of more volume here if you need. Sometimes the clay does its own job. Sometimes it gets pretty. Yeah, I will need to put a little bit of clay in there. Do you guys want me to do it? It's just like the other fingers. I can just do it. So even though the thumb is not bending, there's always some volume in here. Then we just blend in and make the marks. Then you get the right volume. You get the right look. I have to smooth out a little bit better, and I'll do that later because we still have a whole arm to work on. And here it says 16 minutes on live, but I think it's been longer now. I don't know. Let me see if it's going to say here. Oh, it doesn't say. Well, anyway. Okay, guys, so now, before we go ahead with arms, is there any question for hands? I mean, in here, when I added the clay, you have to make sure to mark the veils a little bit more if you want. Like I could do that. I guess I didn't really do anything in here. And also make sure, because naturally mine, as I did, I already give the right shape. And that happens once you are used to do it so much. When you do that first phase of the hand, you automatically give it the right shape. 31 minutes, okay. So, but we can always add more. So let's just go ahead, because I want to talk about those shapes that I didn't talk about it. So here also there's some volume. Cannot be so thin. And make sure that the hand finishes in the right spot there. Okay. So when you look on the side, it's not so skinny like it was before, because we didn't really build this part, right? So it's always nice that you put the volume for the pinky finger, like this side of the hand, on the bottom and not on top, okay? Because if you put on top, you're gonna lose that drop that we talked about last class. You're gonna lose this drop. It's important to keep it lower, so put the volume inside. And then you can still keep the drop in here. I'm using PV clay. It's a Brazilian brand of polymer clay, but you can use any brand of polymer clay. And for the top of the hand is the same thing that we talked before. There's the drop, so the middle finger is the higher one, and then it drops here, it drops there. And between each finger, you do have a little bit of a lower part. If you want to go more realistic with the veins, you can, like do it like skinnier, but usually when you relax, I have pretty bony hands, so I don't follow mine so much, and a lot of veins too. I'm older, so the veins show up more, and also the texture, but you can always dig in between the fingers a little bit. I have skinny hands too, so this is all very, like you could even study anatomy in my hands, but some hands are like, there's more skin here, a lot more fat, I guess, I don't know, and you don't really see all those tendons and veins and all of that, so you don't really need to go crazy on that. Okay, so that's it for hands, and then just make sure that you have the right ending here, like it's not super skinny, like not going triangle. If you see around this finger, there's a little go out a little bit, and you should respect that. Make sure that it goes in a little bit and gets skinnier a little bit, but it's not like super skinnier. Binger, I made a status. I don't understand. Hi, Egypt. So as you can see, the hand here You have to consider just here, okay? This is the thumb part, but here it goes in a bit, it goes in a bit, and now we can make the wrist. So before we go ahead for arms, good, great. This is not really an anatomy class, it's just I give the basics so they can build a native. This is a Native American Native dolls class, so we're not focusing so much in anatomy. But I always go a little bit so they can identify some parts and make sure that they don't mess up the volumes. All right, so this is like, let's talk a little bit about arms as we go. I'm not going to go focusing on anatomy a lot, but I just want you guys to identify some. This is the Anatomy for Artists 2 image you can find on their page, and they have an amazing book. But let's use this image. So it's like this. It's anatomy for sculptures, and they're awesome. They have a lot of free stuff on their Facebook page, but they also have a PDF book that is amazing, and it's totally worth to get it. All right, so this is a great way to divide the arm so you can understand where the volume goes, and I think it's very easy to help my students to don't get lost in arms, because arms rotate in a lot of different ways. There's a full rotation on the shoulder here, I mean not a full, but there's the rotation, and also from here to here. Yes, anatomy for sculptures, anatomy with Y, anatomy. And there's also this rotation here on the arm, and the forearm here. There's also this rotation, so this causes a little bit of confusion in where the volumes go when you turn your arm this way. And I get confused in that too. And I've seen a lot of my students getting confused in that too. So this is just a way that we can communicate about the volumes. And also I think it helps to organize in my brain. I'm dyslexic, so a lot of things I get confused. But I've seen a lot of students getting confused with that too. So that's just a very good way to see and you know, like, oh, you remember the deltoid muscle and the B surface. So that's a good way to imagine the arm so you can imagine the volumes. So if you make the arm flat like that, all like a square, it's easier to identify what is the part of the arm that we're talking about and where the volumes go. So when we put the arm in this natural position, like facing, like just put it down, the arm is going to go relax down, and the deltoid muscle, that is this one here, that is the shoulder muscle, it's going to face out the outside of the body, right? And this surface that is right under the deltoid, that it's like in an relaxed position, it's also facing the outside. It's, we can call the B surface, or the B part. Okay, so it's right under the deltoid. And then you can see that the deltoid has a little point here, so it goes like with a little point, like a teardrop, and that's the B surface. So what happens is when you turn your arm, when you do the rotations, this will always be under the deltoid. It doesn't matter if you put your arms above your head, this is going to face the inside of your head, but they go together. They don't separate from each other. Okay? The B surface. All right. And for this part, the top, the bottom area, here the forearm, I think, it goes and it twists itself, and that can change from the B position. So if you twist, what is facing right above the B position can change a little bit. So here, this white part here is right together in the same line with the B position. Also, if you just bend your arm, it will be in the right thing. But if you twist your arm and you do this rotation, then it will change. If you do this rotation, it will change. So, let's see if I can show my arm here. No, I can't. It's too far. It's too big for showing in here. Okay, so what does that mean here? How do I divide my arm? Let's see if I can do here. I have a draw here for old classes. It's not proportional or anything. I'm not a good drawing. I'm actually horrible. But I think you guys can understand. So what I do for the arm is I do the shoulder, the arm on the side of the body, right? Like that thing. And then here. So B position here. And this is the front. So let's put a female so we know it's the front. So the B position is here. And then right in front of the arm, in the other surface here goes the biceps. And in the back here goes the triceps. Right there. Okay? So you know. So that is always going to happen no matter. So that's the biceps, that's the triceps. So no matter if you point the shoulder above your head, this is always going to be right in front in the other surface. This one. Where is it? Here. The biceps. It's going to be in this surface here. And the triceps right here on this back here. Okay? So you know it doesn't matter where you rotate your arm. This is going to be always like that. It's going to change the direction, being outside of your body, or above your head is going to be inside of your body. Or if you twist your shoulder more to the front, is going to twist a little bit. But whatever the deltoid, the point of the deltoid goes, you know, biceps goes in front, triceps goes in the back. And then it kind of helps you to guide you where to put the right volume here. Oopsies. Any question about that? Any question about that? No questions or complete silence because nobody understood a thing? It's a little bit hard, like arms, it's hard. I'm gonna have to remove my friendship bracelet that my daughter gave it to me to go ahead with this class here. So I probably have to do some drawing in my... It's good? Okay. So... all right. I'm going to try to show my arm. So now for the... so if you have the biceps right in the front, in this... I don't like to draw on my book here because I always use this book. So right in front of the biceps here, you have this line under the biceps that is in the front. In front of the B surface, you have the biceps. Right under the biceps, you have this line here, right? This is my biceps right here, and then I have this line. Let me go farther. So you have the B surface, the biceps here. I don't have a biceps like mine is invisible, but anyway, it should be there. And right under the biceps, we have this line. So I use this line to guide me to know what's going to happen with my arm, depending on how I twist my forearm. So you see, if I twist this way and this way, it will affect this volume here. Right? And this is where we get confused when we are sculpting arms. So I always guide myself with this line. This goes right my biceps here. Right? And then that's the line. So what do I do here to guide myself? I put my arm in this direction and align these two lines, my pulse and here, and I align them. I put them in the same line. And then you can make a line right here. Right? This is what I try to do. And I know this is right under my biceps if I am in this direction, if my arm in this direction. So in this direction, I know that I have this volume right here that goes here. all the way behind my elbow. Here, there's a volume here. So there's more volume in this area. Okay? And this volume doesn't stop here. This is something else we have to talk about it because the muscle doesn't stop right there. Let me see if I go here to show here. This is a good image. The muscle goes above this line. It doesn't stop at the line. It goes above the line. Okay? So let's talk about these volumes now. Here, I have a good example here. So that's the volume right there. And it kind of dies before it reaches my pulse. The volumes kind of dies around here. I have very skinny arms, so it's hard to show all these volumes. I'm not a skinny person, but I have skinny arms. So something else that helped me to guide me through is the hollow line right here that goes from the elbow to the here to the under this bone here to the pinky finger side, to the outside. Okay, so if you look to your arm in any direction, you're able to see this hollow line, and that is right above this volume here, the one outside here. You see, you make the volume here, and then here is where you will see the hollow line there, and it will always go to your thing, the bone on the pinky side. It always go in here, like you can see there, right there, my hollow line. It's pretty visible here, and then it goes under the volume and reaches my elbow, right there. Okay. So when you do that, it doesn't matter if your wrist is like this or like this. It always follows. It follows my pinky. Okay? Even if you do the rotation, it will follow your pinky. Got it? Any question? And when you go to look to this on the elbow, see, this is the outside, because that's the pinky. See, oh, it's not on camera. All right, so that's the pinky. This is the outside. This is the bone, right? This one, right here, beside the pinky part. And when you go up, and it reaches the elbow right there. Okay, it's not on the side here. It crosses. So there's a pose that you do, I can't really show here, but if you put your elbow on the table and twist your arm, you can see the line forming pretty well, the hollow line going around. Oh, I can't really show in here. I'll have to put the phone face into me. But anyway, you will see there. Take a look at yourself. Take a look at the mirror. So you will see the hollow line. And it's always good to mark it. It makes it very realistic when you put it on. So yeah, so that's it. So we have the two volumes here. So the arms, the arm, I mean, we're talking about a female. We're not going to make giant triceps or biceps on her. But you can put a little bit of a volume. It's not wrong. It can be a little bit, especially when you're a mom and you carry a baby. That it usually pops out a little bit. And then you put this volume, and there's another volume on the other side, and elbow in here. Front. Oh, no, that's the front of the arm, so that's not the elbow. The elbow is in the back, because that's the biceps. But in the back is the same thing. There's a volume on the side of the arm, and then the triceps. Okay? But there's also a volume here. So the shape of the arm, it's kind of like this, looking on the surface B here. Okay, all right, so let's put it on practical, because it's hard to show in my own arm. This I do like when I have like live classes, it's easier to show because then I can explain in my own arm. But we don't have that right now. Where's my hand? Here. So let's do this. How much longer we have to do that? I'm just gonna put the other click. Or is it? Some in here. Do we still have like a couple minutes left, Marcia? Because I have only 28 minutes here because I came back after. So let's see what is happening in her arm here. So this is the direction of the shoulder because this is going inside her shoulder. So that means that this out here, it's going to be B surface, right? I'm going to use this different color clay, so I have to make this arm much skinnier, and then I will put the other clay around. So let's just build this up a little bit. There's a more complete explanation on that on my Jasmine class. I think I went deeper on this explanation for the arm. And then also I don't want to be repetitive because a lot of my students already did Jasmine with me and already watched this class, and then every time to explain the same thing for them might be a little bit too much. But anyway, you don't need to do square. 50? Oh boy, yeah. So let's just build up a sketch here, and then we can go ahead with the rest of the explanation here. So I'm making flat so we can define that as B surface. Then we can go ahead with the other muscles and volumes here. Okay, so just like the drawing that we saw. So flat here, and we can call it B. We can even write it, B. There you go. Right? So where is the deltoid muscle here? Well, the deltoid is actually coming through here, from here, like farther in, but right now we can just make it smaller because it doesn't stop at the arm. It kind of like goes higher to the shoulder, and this is just arm, but that's okay. We can just represent it here. So I'm going to represent a shoulder here, and there's a little tip for the deltoid. So we know this is the shoulder right there. Okay, now let's make it here. So we can just put like I did and align the wrist with the hand, and we're gonna change that after, right? I just want to explain. So wrist, and well, we don't need to do that. I can just explain here. So you don't need to move yours, because yours is already probably match up with the baby, so don't move yours. So I'm just gonna put clay here, just to be like, to have something to draw on, to keep on showing the marks that I showed before. All right. So now that we have that covered, oh, I do have an arm that I can show you with the hollow line that I made. See, I think I can pull it off the lady. Not really, it's already attached to her. But anyway, this is going to be good enough for put it in practical what I just showed you there. So this is just like a very summary. Obviously, if you want to study arm anatomy, you have to go deeper in that, okay? And really study the muscles and all of it. This is just so you put the volumes in the right spots and don't get lost on where the volumes go. All right, so B surface here. So what goes right in front of the B surface right here? Remember, B surface, what goes in front? Biceps. I'm just gonna put a tiny little one because I don't want her to be strong, and this arm is going to be another color, so I need to have space for the other clay. I'll just put here a representation of it so you know it. I am not even mentioning the triceps so much because on a female, for the triceps to really show the mark of it, she needs to be quite strong. Hey, so B surface, deltoid, the biceps will go in the front. The triceps would go right here in the back, and this would be elbow. So you can mark a little pointy elbow in there just to remind us that that's elbow. And the triceps actually it splits in two here, but we don't need to put it on the female arm. I mean, you can if you want, I won't. And then what goes right under the biceps is the line, the bending arm line. And I'm gonna go all the way to my wrist and put it together and mark it, just like I draw on my arm, right? So what do I know here? I know that right here, going above the biceps and here, there's a volume that goes all the way here, and this volume kind of dies before the wrist. So around here, you start losing volume and completely lose when it reaches here. Okay, so I don't see other of this brown clay. Oh, it's here. I don't know where I put it. So let me show a little bit of this volume here, and you will see that that's pretty much can be enough for you to make an okay arm. I mean, you're not going to mark all the muscles, you're not going to make a lot of details on it, but for the type of doll that we're making here, and she has fringes hanging all over her arm and a baby on top, so it's not going to show a lot of it and is not a strong female, so we don't really need to draw all the arm muscles, we just need to draw enough. So I'm gonna put the volume here, and it kind of goes around the biceps, and there's a volume here, more volume than the rest of the arm. Obviously it needs to be thicker than that. I'm making very skinny because I'm not with the right clay, and I'm intending to put clay around, but that will explain you guys all the volumes. And then you can put, depending on how skinny she is, and also kids, this works for kids too, this works for everybody. If it's stronger, then you make a bigger biceps, like you mark the deltoid better, you mark all the muscles much better when the person is stronger. If it's a male, you make bigger. If it's a children, you make very skinny arms, if it's like a skinny children. I'm just saying because I just made the two little African boys and they're very skinny. It's pretty much just this. And then there's the other volume right here that goes around the line. So knowing that if the wrist changes around, the volume is going to follow. So if you mark the line here and that line there, make sure to make this line following the wrist line and going right in the center. And then you know those volumes go right on the side of it. Then you have the right volumes in your arm. Okay? And then, oh my gosh, I completely messed up my thumb. I knew I was going to do that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. And then you can just blend in a little bit and then make sure to mark the hollow line right here. So you can actually just make sure that this volume is going to reach where the hollow line is, and this volume together will mark the hollow line there. I'm not going to complete mark the hollow line here because when I put the skin on, I will naturally mark it. Okay? So there you go. Volume. And volume here. Then you have a decent arm. Obviously cannot be that skinny here. You'd have to make it bigger, but you're not gonna get lost in where those bigger volumes go. So as long as you make this larger, make sure to show there is a biceps right there. Even if it's a female and if you blend it all in, you can still leave a little bump in there without any deep marks, without anything. You can show that is there. Okay? Like when you put it together. So this is going to be a very skinny arm because I'm coming with different color clay to finish it up. And I'll blend it all in. Blend it all in. Make sure to don't put the hollow line in the thumb side, okay? It's this side. And it's right up under this bone here. There you go. This clay, it's pretty soft. I don't like working with soft clay because I mixed it, a lot of leftover from my daughter's different brands and stuff like that. So that it is. You have a very skinny arm, but with some decent volumes here. Okay, and then same thing with the shoulder, but the shoulder I will finalize when I place the body. I place the arm to her body. All right, just for the volumes on the arm, are we all good? Or you guys have any question? This is way too skinny, guys. Don't go that skinny, okay? It's because I don't have a lot of this clay. That is the skin color clay. And I don't want to have like a very thick arm at the end. And I don't want to make a very thin layer of that clay because it's going to make a shade. So I need to finish up this arm with this clay around that. Okay. I don't know if we have time to go ahead. I don't want to bake that without fixing my thumb. So yeah, I think I'll just put the clay around this next class and just mark those volumes, and we can try to remember the volumes. And this is just like I just do it so I can organize myself to the volumes in the arm. And then obviously if you want to go more realistic with more details, you use a reference and follow all the little muscles marks that it shows in that arm, because they're not exactly the same. So for example, my biceps is going to be completely different of my cousin's biceps because we have more or less fat in our arm. We have more or less pumped up muscles. So it all depends on that. So it's always good to follow reference to go more realistic on the details. So you can see, for example, if you have a reference, you can see the biceps. I don't know if it's bicep or biceps. I don't know if I'm saying that right, because in Portuguese it's biceps, but I think in English might be biceps. But for example, you can go and look at the bump that biceps, yeah, biceps. I know I was saying wrong. But you can look, for example, if you have a model or if you have pictures and you're following that reference, you're going to see exactly how much of that biceps is showing in that position that she's making. So you will slowly learn, for example, the same arm will show the biceps more or less if she's carrying a heavy suitcase or a baby, or if she's just relaxed arm, it's going to pull, like to show the bump, the biceps bump more or less. So that's why I always tell my students, follow a reference, try to copy exactly what is there, and you will be able to go deeper on those details. So for example, the hollow line, how much the hollow line is showing when the arm is in this direction. In some direction it's very soft. In some positions of the arm it's softer, but in some positions when you twist, for example, it gets stronger and you can see deeper. Or if the arm is very muscled, then you can really see all the muscles details and everything. So It's always good to follow reference. And if you have the opportunity, just ask someone to pose right beside you and sculpt just a forearm or just a full arm or just a hand. And slowly you will learn everything. And when you just need to make a doll that doesn't require all these anatomy details, then boop, it's going to be faster and easier and better every time you do it. All right? This forearm is not bad at all for adding the clay because I don't want her to have much more larger arm than that, but here is very skinny. I can definitely use more brown clay here for the top of the arm. Bake the hand and arm. Well, I actually like to bake the hand before I make the arm, like I said, because then you don't mess up the fingers, because the fingers are very easy to mess up. And then I'll build the arm after the hand is actually baked. Just make sure that the hand is absolutely cut it right at the wrist, so you can still bend it after you bake that part. Okay? You can still change the wrist position after you bake, so you can still fix your pose a little bit around and be able to play around with it before you you bake the arm. And then usually I bake hand, I pose the arm again, build the arm, and before baking I put the arm on the body to pose the arm according to the body, so they go together nicely. Any more question? I think that's it for today. I will put a little bit more clay in this area for next class. And the good thing about it is that this is very soft right now, and for next week it's going to be a little bit harder and easy to put the clay around. Okay? I didn't really give an anatomy class. This was just to help us to guide ourselves and a way that I can communicate with my students for the volumes in the arm. So we didn't went through any muscle. I mean, I did said biceps and deltoids and triceps, but that's pretty much about it. But as long as you know the volumes, where all the volumes goes for this type of doll, you're okay. You can work on those, and then slowly you will learn more and more. You don't it's two ways. Like, you could just study anatomy all the time and play and study with plastilene and then disassemble after you're done, which is a very good exercise as well. Or you can just start with making dolls and slowly and graduate and get better with those dolls and still have all your work baked and existing and you can see it. I prefer that was the way I took, but there's a lot of other artists that just practice with the plastilene and disassemble, and then because plastilene is much easier to handle than polymer clay. It's much easier to actually get the shape you want. It's easy and fast. Also, water-based clay, it's easier to get the shape you want. The polymer clay, it's a kind of like the elasticity of it, and it's hard, so sometimes you have to press one to get it a shape, and you squeeze another part, and that is like give it some difficulties with the clay that you have to get used to it. But with other clays, you can practice this much easier and learn faster the proper anatomy. All right? Okay, dokie. So I will see you guys next week and hope you guys enjoyed. So next week we'll finish the arm, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna have to bake her body before we put the arm on it, because if we have time, I want to start shoes. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to see previous classes, I have them all available on my Patreon account. If you don't know my Patreon account or any other social medias I have, you can just click on my website and it will guide you through lessons, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. I use Facebook more than Instagram, to be honest. I don't like Instagram very much, but I do have it. Okay, bye-bye. See you next week. Thanks for watching.